Flash news. The government just came up with the strongest cooling measure ever. ABSD increased, TDSR tightened, LTV tightened, and GRS increased. It will shake the property market. And in this video, we will show you what led to this cooling measure, what do the policies entail, and what should you do moving forward. So what led to this cooling measure? For the past 2 years, private property price index have increased by 9%, HDB price index up by 15%, and this is after a drop of almost 10% from 2014 to 2019. Government land sales show that the price is likely to continue to go up in the next 1 year. Lantor New Launch likely to sell 2,000 PSF, twice the price of current resale property in this area. Advertisement, we have one such unit for sale. If you are interested, call this number. What do the policies entail? The ABSD for first-time buyers are not affected and do not wish to hurt home buyers, and this is actually good. ABSD for second property increased from 12 to 17% for Singapore citizen and 15 to 25% for PR. The message is clear. Properties are for home buyers and not for investors. This is, well, a good decision. But the unwanted effect is that for home upgraders, if you want to upgrade your house first, then sell current house, you're pinned down by stronger TDSR, ABSD, and still have your LTV, CPF minimum sum set aside to worry about. You're likely forced to sell first, then buy. If the mass majority of the people are forced to do the same thing, you can expect to see more stay extension and short-term lease because of this. Another bigger side effect is this. Think about this. A couple can only buy one HDB flat, but if they buy private properties, they can buy 2 private properties. So less people will like to keep the HDB and pay ABSD for second property, and more will sell HDB and buy private properties. In the longer term, the gap between HDB and private property price gap will increase over time. The next change is ABSD for third property greatly increased. The effect is less people will own third or more residential properties on paper. Another change, ABSD for foreigners increased from 20% to 30%. Our property price increased during COVID when no foreigners came to Singapore. Think about this, once the COVID is over, foreigners start to come to Singapore and buy our properties, property price goes up. Our property price is already hot enough. We do not need the extra money to push up the property price. So in this sense, it is a good measure. The next change, ABSD for entities increased from 25% to 35%. Entities can refer to, for example, developers. Without ABSD, developers can hold the property for as long as they want and wait for the market to pick up and eventually hit their selling price, and they can sell the property. But with ABSD, developers have to sell within the 5 years period of time. With higher ABSD means that if the market drops, developers will be forced to lower their price in tandem with the market. They cannot hold the price and wait it out. It's too risky for them. The developer price will be closer to the real market price, and this is good. The next change is TDSR lowered from 60%. This is interesting because the average income per couple is about $9,300. 55% TDSR means the government expects families to spend $4,200 monthly on non-housing expenditure. But on another statistic, we are spending average of only 3.6K estimated per month, lower than the 4.2K mentioned before. So the reason behind the tightening of TDSR is more of a cooling measure, less of a financial prudence. The government will also roll out more government land sale GLS and roll out more BTO. We are squeezed into another en bloc craze. This will help to push the en bloc cycle. The impact from this GLS and BTO increase is great, but we need to look at the figures once it's out. So what should you do moving forward? If you're a landlord, consider increase your rents but shortening your lease. People will still take up and this will increase your rental yield. For HDB dwellers, the price difference between HDB price and private property price is likely to go up. So consider selling your HDB and go for private property. For investors who have first or second residential properties already, for your third property, consider going into commercial or industrial properties. Especially for warehouse, I think in the next few years will be very good. So with the ABSD increase for developers, the developer price will go in tandem with the property market. So in other words, the price can fall a little bit from time to time. So when you're buying a new launch, be very careful about the upside potential. Make sure that the property that you're buying have at least generally 3 upside potentials. Speak to us for advice on this. For en bloc projects, don't just blindly jump into an en bloc project. The SSD is still 3 years, but right now the en bloc potential properties are slightly overpriced. So that's all. This video is our personal view for educational purpose. If you have any thoughts, please share with us. I'm Andas of Pandas. We'll see you in our next video.